Top 5 spring lures. So, this video, top 5 spring lures, we're going to talk about why they're my top 5 spring lures and the way you should use them in this time of year. So, let's get started. The first bait is going to be the good old-fashioned jerkin sticks, a jerk bait. And it's especially if you have a suspending jerk bait, that'll work best because of what you need to do with the jerk baits. So a suspending is where it'll sit in the middle of the water. If you twitch it and you stop, it'll sit there just like this. It'll sit kind of at an angle. It'll just sit there, do nothing. Right at the middle of the water column. It won't sink down or won't float up. So that's why it's important to have a suspending. But if you don't have a suspending, that's okay. You can use an original, one that'll float up, that's fine. But I'm going to talk about the suspending. And so what you want to do with this jerk bait, this is a Strike King jerk bait. Now, in the summer with the jerk bait, you twitch it just non-stop. Twitch, 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 twitch. But in the winter time, especially when it's cold, you want to twitch, twitch, stop. And that you want that pause to be for about 5-6 seconds. Just a long enough time just for that bass or northern or any type of fish to come up and grab that lure. And I like to use these ice out, so that's going to be your whole retrieve. That's your entire retrieve for this bait. Twitch, twitch, pause for about 5-6 seconds. Twitch, twitch, pause. Twitch, twitch, pause. Twitch, twitch, pause. Get the point. And it's a really easy meal for these fish at this cold time of year, especially when the ice is out, like I said earlier. But if we're getting close to summer, you can start twitching a little more and less pauses. So that is good. With colors, you see this is a sexy shad. You want some sort of bait fish imitation like this right here. This would imitate a shad. And then like a color like this one. This is like a gold. Something for that sun to shine off the lure into the reflection of the water. You see it's shining off this lure just a bit. The sun is right now out of my window, but it looks like the sun just went under a few clouds right there. So suspending, twitch, twitch, and pause. So you'll be catching fish. The second bait is a rattle trap type bait, but in this case it is the Strike King Red Eye Shad. Now, with this bait, you're gonna kind of have a rip and fall retrieve. It's called a rip and fall. And so you're gonna cast it out, and then you're gonna let this bait sink all the way to the bottom. And then you're gonna rip it up, and it's gonna shoot up, and then you're gonna let it fall, and it'll have a shimmy to it when it falls, and then you'll rip it back up again. Have a shimmy, reel up the slack line as you go. And you'll also be working that bait back towards you. And what this actually does is it imitates a dying shad. When that bait shimmies on the way down, that imitates a dying shad. So that's why you want it to shimmy like that. And all rattle traps are made to do that. Usually in summer, you're fishing with it. And you're fishing with it, and you're going by real fast. You're zooming that bait right by. But usually, in the winter, you just kind of want to slow fall and retrieve. Just keep it nice, steady pace. Don't speed up. Don't slow down. Keep the same pace for the whole entire retrieve. For colors, you want, like I said earlier, same with the jerkin sticks, the jerk baits. Like a baitfish color, which in this one is sexy shad as well. And then like a gold color for that sun to shine off. And that'll really help because there'll also be, come to that if it does catch dry. Because it may be on the bank soaking up some of that sunlight when spring comes around. Because it's still pretty cold in spring. And then when you ever retrieve and let it fall to the bottom, you're going to have a crawl. You want a crawl scheme, paint scheme. And that just shows, you know, they'll be eating craws this time of year because they're slow moving. It's going to be easy meal. So that was the second bait. That was the rattle trap type bait, which in that case was red-eye shad by Strike King. Now this third bait, it's a hard bait, but then it's kind of not. And that's because it's the jerk bait. Or, excuse me, jerk bait. What on earth am I thinking? What in God's name just happened about that? That ain't no jerkin stick. This is jerkin stick. A jig, I meant to say. And you see, it's kind of hard bait, but it's kind of not. And I hope we all know how to fish a jig. They're pretty simple to fish. You can have a trailer on it if you want. Like this one here, it's got a little crawl trailer. But, you know, a jig is pretty simple. You know, when you cast it out and you let it fall to the bottom. And you kind of hop it on the bottom. You know, just hop, hop. And you just twitch your rod up and down. Not too fast, though, and not too slow. You want to let it sit there for a few times. Again, easy meal. And if you want to, you can add a trailer. Like in this case, there's a crawl trailer, and that is actually the Berkeley Chicker Crawl by Berkeley Power Bait. And that's also going to allow those claws to make it even look even more like a crawl. So, with colors, you're going to want like a green pumpkin color, like a black and blue color, and then like a bait fish color. And the reason these three colors is because the green pumpkin, that is good for clear water, clear and cold water, and so that is why. And so that's good for clear water, and then our black and blue one's good for dark water, the muddy water, and then a bait fish imitation. So, like if they're feeding on the gills or anything like a shad or something, again, bait imitation. If you don't see the pattern here, basically the same thing for every bait with color wise. So yeah. And then the fourth bait is going to be a crawl. And in this case, it's a rage tail rage crawl. Pretty simple crawl. I like to use them on wobble heads, but not this time of year, because it's going to give that bait an actual wobble. Because when this bait sitting on the bottom, it's actually going to wobble it like that. You don't want that, because it's too much action. So you're just going to put it on a simple Texas rig, and it's going to be on the bottom like that. And the only action with it is going to be your craws when you're not moving. Your craw is going to have it's going to be flapping like that. So, like I said, the colors I like to use: green pumpkin for like a clear water, and then black and blue for a dirty water. And then our fifth bait are some finesse worms. And actually, in this case, it's the man's original jelly worm. I don't have any Zoom finesse worms right now. I just ran out. I got these, so that's always good. And so we're gonna use these, and we'll talk about them. So with these finesse worms, pretty like all the other baits, you're gonna want to use Texas rig. Again, because you don't want to put on a wobble head, a little too much action. And just like with the other baits, like the jerkin sticks, and I don't know why I call them jerkin sticks. I just do jerk baits for you guys that aren't understanding me. You know, the rattle trap type baits and jigs, and the craws. Just, you know, same color varieties. You know, just darker colors for the darker water. And then like a green pumpkin for the clear water. So, you can also rig this weightless. So if you have it rigged weightless, it's going to fall really slow. Again, easy meal. And that's basically just the whole thing behind all these baits. So if you use these baits correctly and right at the right time, you'll catch some fish. And are these all the baits to use in the spring? No. But these were just my top 5. So if you're not understanding what I'm saying by top 5 is, if I only had 5 baits to fish with the whole spring, these are the 5 I choose. So, and so yeah, just different, just color varieties, and just use right time. And like with these worms, this worm and this crawl, and even the jig, I guess. Actually all these baits. Hold them up here. Now, if the sun's high in the sky, start off by working the banks. Just start off by working the banks. Your luck will come there first if they are there. So just start off by working the banks, and hopefully you'll catch some fish. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you watched it and you didn't, what in God's name just happened, man? My dog just knocked something over. I gotta pick that up, but this video's almost over. So, but yeah, just just the baits, slow moving, easy meal for the fish, and then just the right colors. So if you like this, like and subscribe if you did like this video, and if you use these baits how I talked about them in the right colors, you should catch some fish. So here in Iowa, spring's really just starting right now. We had a terrible winter. It was cold through all April, so it's really just starting, and that's why I'm posting this video now. But yeah, so good luck this spring. Hope you catch some fish, and stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching.